The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders by John Potash.
All right, at 6 p.m. in New York City at 99.5 FM, WBAI and WBAI.org.
A new book, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders, took its author John Potash hundreds of interviews and 12 years to complete. Potash argues the FBI and police intelligence used similar tactics and personnel to target Tupac as they had his Black Panther parents.
And finally tonight, did a special unit of the FBI orchestrate the murder of rap artist Tupac Shakur?
The subtitle of this book is U.S. Intelligence's Murderous Targeting of Tupac, MLK, Malcolm, Panthers, Hendrix, Marley, rappers, and linked ethnic leftists. The book includes over 1,000 endnotes referencing over 100 personal interviews the author conducted, hundreds of pages of court documents, and hundreds of pages of FBI and CIA documents. For the sake of legitimacy, it should be said that activist leader Fred Hampton Jr. gave an afterword for the book. Regarding the Freedom of Information Act, this author paid for what was incidentally said to be over 4,000 pages in Tupac Shakur's FBI file. Here's the Department of Justice letter verifying that payment for these pages. The collected research shows that a review of U.S. intelligence's targeting of the Shakur family offers a window into the targeting of key leftist black and ethnic leaders for over 4 decades. Similar tactics and personnel that were used against both conventional leftist leaders, such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy, were used against more grassroots leaders. Similar tactics and personnel were also used against leftist musicians, ranging from Harry Belafonte and Jimi Hendrix to Bob Marley and political rap artists. Tupac Shakur's leftist legacy started with his mother, Afeni Shakur, a one-time Black Panther leader of the Harlem, New York chapter. By October of 1966, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale decided to start their own new group, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, in Oakland, California. They wanted to differentiate themselves from Ram's Black Panther Party by using more militant means of defending themselves and other blacks against rampant police brutality. They brought guns and law books to scenes of police beating on blacks. In 1968, a gunman assassinated civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King's friend, a journalist named William Pepper, later became an attorney teaching at Oxford University and spent over 20 years investigating MLK's assassination. Here he is seen with Dr. King's family, where he represented them at an historic 1999 trial they won against a government co-conspirator involved in King's assassination. William Pepper wrote a first book on the investigation, Orders to Kill. Another important aspect of the Panther 21 trial came out when defense attorney Gerald Lefcourt cross-examined the state's witness, undercover agent Eugene Roberts, who had infiltrated the New York Black Panthers and helped frame the Panther 21. Lefcourt said, "Isn't it a fact that you helped murder Malcolm X?" Roberts had previously infiltrated Malcolm X's group and was the first person to arrive at his bullet-ridden body. William Pepper said that similar to the role of Roberts, undercover military agent infiltrator Merrill McCullough was the first to arrive at Martin Luther King's body at his assassination, as seen here. Pepper said McCullough checked out Martin Luther King's life signs. He then apparently signaled the shooters to disengage as the assassination was successful. Shortly after, McCullough received a promotion to the CIA. The FBI continued to follow Afeni Shakur from job to job and pressured employers to fire her or not to hire her. Mutulu had attained a 4-year degree in acupuncture in Canada. He used it as assistant director of Lincoln Detox, a pioneering program with great success at treating addicts in the South Bronx through acupuncture. Many activists from various groups worked with Mutulu. These included white former Students for a Democratic Society activists, including those linked to the Weather Underground, Puerto Rican independence activists, and former Black Panthers. Before the end of Tupac's senior year of high school, the New African Panthers elected Tupac as their youngest ever national chairman. According to Tupac, the group attempted to replicate his mother's Black Panthers without making the same mistakes. It appeared more than coincidence that exactly 1 year later, On August 22, 1989, gunmen assassinated Newton. The FBI's LA COINTELPRO leader, Richard Held, had moved back to head the FBI's San Francisco Bay office in 1986. TV news stations caught him lying when he said they had no suspects, and witnesses described it as an execution rather than a random drug death. Barry, known as Queen of the Quip, began to realize the FBI's corrupt attacks on protesters. At a news conference, she told the press, "I hope the FBI find their man, and when they do, I hope they fire him." Barry and Earth First filed a lawsuit against FBI Area Chief Richard Held and key police leaders. The suit eventually gained enough powerful support that it forced Richard Held into an early retirement in 1993. In the years before Held's retirement, several key attacks occurred on Tupac Shakur as he broke into the music world, leading Tupac to say, "I never had a record until I made a record." Within several days, Oakland police stopped Tupac for jaywalking. As described in these official legal claim pages, police banged his head into a curb and choked him unconscious. News articles have reported at least 2 other cases where suspects have died in police hands from those same police actions. As Tupac signed autographs for kids, a man amongst a group of strangers ran up to Tupac and punched him for no reason. Tupac's road manager and Mutulu Shakur's son, Maurice Mopreme Harding, blocked others in the group from attacking Tupac. Harding took a gun out and shot it straight towards the sky before he and Tupac took off running. Witnesses supported that at least one of the strangers fired his gun at Tupac, all in front of police, who failed to intervene or arrest the shooters. The Latino version of the Black Panthers, the Young Lords, influenced New York's largest gang, the Latin Kings, to participate in this movement. The video, Black and Gold, and the Columbia University Press published book, The Almighty Latin King and Queen Nation, detailed their activist conversion in the mid-1990s. Not long after the early 1990s Blood Crips peace truce, Tupac and one of his mentors had come up with a political plan. Tupac decided to take on a gangster rap persona in order to appeal to gangs and then politicize them. He did this as part of the peace truce movement, participating in a Blood Crips peace truce picnic and other events. Tupac called this the Thug Life Plan. Another time in Atlanta, friends drove Tupac from a concert he had given when witnesses say 2 off-duty white cops in street clothes were beating on a black motorist in front of the rapper. Tupac rolled down his window to ask what was happening. Both white and black witnesses say the white men then ran at Tupac's car, smashed Tupac's car window with the butt of a gun, and shot at him. By 1977, Watergate muckraking journalist Carl Bernstein reported on the CIA's work in the media. Despite his fame from Watergate, Bernstein could only publish his article, CIA and the Media, in Rolling Stone magazine. He based his facts on the Congressional Church Committee findings that well over 400 members of the media lived dual lives in their work for the CIA. As seen in this paragraph, this number included the heads of virtually all mainstream news organizations. Detective Poole, seen here at a crime scene, found dozens and dozens of his fellow Los Angeles police officers at all levels of death row records. Poole's superiors told him that these police officers in death row records could be considered troubleshooters or covert agents. Detective Poole found overwhelming evidence that his fellow police officers in death row records murdered Biggie. He said that they did this to cover up their murder of Tupac by making it look to be part of the East versus West rap war. The FBI had Hendrix under regular surveillance. Hendrix's business manager, Mike Jeffrey, seen here, reported formerly working for MI6, which is Britain's CIA. The Progressive magazine published a feature story in 2008 stating that the FBI deputized 23,000 managers of top corporations to form a group called InfraGard. The FBI said that members of this group could murderously shoot others without legal consequences. In these dire economic times, the bigoted super-rich murderers have expanded their scope.
Power to the people, heard that before.